The stars looked the same as always from Earth that night. People went about their lives unaware that beyond those twinkling lights, danger was coming. High above the blue planet, something large moved through the darkness of space. Commander Rex stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Claw. His scaled skin reflected the blue glow of control panels as he stared at the viewscreen. Earth turned slowly before him, small and blue. Rex had conquered 12 planets before this one. Each victory had been quick and total. This would be no different. Status report, Rex demanded, his voice deep and rough. Officer Krell moved his clawed fingers across the control panel. All 300 ships are in position, Commander. Weapons at full power. Earth has detected our presence. Their primitive satellites are tracking us now. Rex smiled, showing sharp teeth. And their defenses? Minimal. They have no space fleet, only small rockets and satellites. Their weapons cannot reach us here. Perfect. Rex turned to face his crew of 20 Draconians. Their race was feared across the galaxy. Tall, strong, with tough scaled skin and advanced technology, they had never lost a war. Send the message. Let them know who now owns their world. On Earth, panic spread like fire. The message from the alien ships appeared on every screen, in every language. People of Earth, we are the Draconian Empire. Your planet is now ours. Surrender now, and some of you may live to serve us. Resist, and all will die. You have 6 hours to decide. In every major city, people ran through streets in fear. Some tried to leave the cities. Others hid in their homes. Governments called emergency meetings. Military leaders prepared whatever weapons they had, knowing it would not be enough. But in a small house on a mountain far from any city, one man watched the news with different eyes. Jack Wilson had once been a top military strategist before. He chose to live alone, away from people. Now, as he watched the alien message replay on his old television, something caught his attention. That's odd, he muttered to himself, reaching for a notepad. He began writing notes, analyzing the aliens' words and the patterns in their message. Something wasn't right. The timing of their words, the patterns in their speech. It reminded him of something he had studied years ago. Jack worked through the night, filling pages with notes. As dawn broke, his phone rang, something that almost never happened. Jack Wilson, he answered, voice rough from lack of sleep. Mr. Wilson, this is General Adams. I need your help. The world needs your help. Jack sighed. I left that life behind. General, the President asked for you personally. You're the best strategic mind we have. Jack looked at his notes about the alien message. I was already working on it. There's something about their communication that's familiar. I need access to the full message data. You'll have everything. A helicopter will pick you up in 30 minutes. 3 hours later, Jack stood in the underground command center beneath the White House. Screens covered the walls, showing the massive alien ships hovering above major cities worldwide. Military leaders and government officials argued loudly about whether to fight or surrender. Fighting is suicide, one general shouted. Their ships are too advanced. We cannot just give up our planet. Another replied. President Reeves, a tall woman with tired eyes, noticed Jack. Everyone quiet. Mr. Wilson is here. The room fell silent as all eyes turned to Jack. He felt uncomfortable with the attention, but walked to the main screen. Show me all communications from the aliens unfiltered, he said to the technician. As data filled the screens, a woman stepped forward. She had dark, curly hair and intelligent eyes behind simple glasses. I've been analyzing that too, she said. Dr. Eliza Reeves, astrophysics. Any relation to the president? Jack asked. My sister? Eliza replied simply. Look at these patterns in their transmission. Together, they studied the data while everyone watched. After 20 minutes of quiet work, Jack looked up. Their technology has a flaw, he said, pointing to specific patterns. Their communications show signs of quantum instability when passing through Earth's magnetic field. And look here, 3 of their smaller ships disappeared from our tracking for 8 seconds. Yesterday, Eliza nodded. I detected unusual energy readings at these locations. She pulled up a map showing points around the world. These are all sites of ancient monuments: Stonehenge, the pyramids, Easter Island, and others. Something about these places creates energy fields that might be affecting their ships. President Reeves stepped forward. What does this mean? Can we use it? Jack looked at the countdown timer on the wall. 3 hours remained before the aliens' deadline. Maybe, he said. But we need to. His words were cut off by alarms blaring through the command center. A young officer shouted from his station. Madam, President, one of their ships just vanished over Egypt. Everyone rushed to see the screens. Where a massive alien ship had been hovering over the Great Pyramid, there was now nothing. No explosion, no debris. It had simply disappeared. What happened? The president demanded. No one had an answer. But as they watched, a second ship flickered, like a bad television signal over Stonehenge, then disappeared completely. Commander Rex roared in anger as reports came in. What do you mean, vanished? Ships do not just vanish. Krell looked terrified. Sir, we've lost contact with 14 ships. They're gone. Impossible. Send search teams. They must be somewhere. Sir, another officer called out, the humans have not responded to our demand. The deadline is in 3 hours. Rex slammed his fist on the control panel. Then we attack now. Prepare all weapons. Target their major cities first. On Earth, Jack and Eliza worked frantically to understand what was happening. More alien ships were disappearing, always near the ancient sites Eliza had identified. It's not a coincidence, Jack said as they examined data. These sites were built on natural power points of the Earth. Something about the combination of Earth's magnetic field in these locations creates a natural defense system. A defense against technology that won't exist for thousands of years? Eliza asked skeptically. Jack shrugged. Maybe our ancestors knew something we've forgotten. Before they could discuss further, the command center erupted in chaos again. They're attacking. Draconian ships are moving into position above major cities. President Reeves turned to Jack and Eliza. Whatever you've discovered, we need to use it now. As the Draconian Armada prepared to rain destruction on Earth, humanity's accidental defense was just beginning to reveal itself. The sky above Earth burned with fire as the Draconian ships began their attack. Brilliant beams of energy cut through clouds, heading toward major cities below. But something strange happened. Many beams seemed to bend away from their targets, at the last moment disappearing into thin air. Commander Rex watched in growing horror as his attack faltered. On the main screen of his flagship, he could see that 30 more ships had vanished completely. What is happening? He roared, slamming his scaled fist against his command chair. This is impossible. Officer Krell worked frantically at his station. Sir, we're detecting unusual energy patterns across the planet. They seem to be absorbing our weapons fire. A defense system? Intelligence said they had no advanced technology. It doesn't appear to be artificial, Commander. The energy signatures match nothing in our database. In the command center beneath the White House, Jack and Eliza watched as the alien attack weakened. Display screens showed more Draconian ships flickering and disappearing. We need to understand exactly what's happening, Jack said, running his hand through his gray hair. If this is our planet's natural defense, we need to know how to control it. President Reeves approached them. The attacks are weakening, but they're still targeting populated areas. We need to strengthen whatever is causing these ships to vanish. Eliza studied the map of energy readings. The effect is strongest at these ancient sites, but it's spreading. It's almost like the planet is waking up. We need to go to one of these sites, Jack decided. See it firsthand. Within an hour, a military helicopter carried Jack and Eliza toward Stonehenge. As they flew, reports came in from around the world. More Draconian ships vanishing, ground troops disappearing when they tried to land. The helicopter pilot pointed ahead. Look at that. Above Stonehenge, a Draconian ship hovered, surrounded by a strange shimmer in the air. As they watched, the ship seemed to stretch and distort, like an image in a funhouse mirror. Then, with a flash of blue light, It vanished. "Land. As close as you can," Jack ordered. Standing among the ancient stones minutes later, Jack and Eliza felt a strange vibration in the air. Their equipment readings were off the charts. "These energy patterns," Eliza said, studying her tablet. "They're similar to theoretical models of interdimensional physics." "In simple terms?" Jack asked. "The ships aren't being destroyed. They're being shifted somewhere else. Another dimension or reality." Jack touched one of the massive stones, feeling it hum with energy. "Why now? These stones have stood for thousands of years." Eliza's eyes widened with realization. The Draconian technology. Their quantum drives must be triggering something in Earth's natural energy field. Our planet has always had this defense. It just needed the right catalyst to activate it. Their conversation was interrupted by the sound of approaching spacecraft. 3 smaller Draconian vessels descended toward Stonehenge, weapons glowing. "They're targeting the stones." Jack pulled Eliza behind a large rock for cover. The alien ships fired, but their energy beams seemed to curve around the stones, feeding into the growing blue glow between them. The ground shook. The air crackled with electricity. "The attack is making it stronger," Eliza whispered in amazement. The center space between the stones filled with swirling blue light. The Draconian ships tried to retreat, but an invisible force pulled them toward the vortex. One by one they stretched, distorted, and vanished into the light. Back on his flagship, Commander Rex watched in disbelief as his invasion force dwindled. Nearly half his fleet was gone now, with more vanishing every minute. "Retreat," he finally ordered. "All ships, pull back beyond this planet's orbit." "Sir," Krell replied, voice shaking. "Many ships report their engines are not responding. The energy field is affecting all our systems." Rex felt cold fear for the first time in his long military career. "Send a message to the Emperor. Tell him—" He paused, searching for words that wouldn't sound like madness. "Tell him Earth has defenses we cannot understand. The planet itself fights against us." As the remaining Draconian ships struggled to escape Earth's pull, humans around the world watched in wonder and confusion. News reports showed alien vessels disappearing in flashes of blue light. Military forces remained on high alert, but it was becoming clear that Earth's mysterious defense was working. In the Pentagon's main situation room, Jack and Eliza reported their findings to military leaders from around the world. Maps and diagrams, covered screens showing energy patterns spreading across the planet. "The ancient sites appear to be focal points," Eliza explained. "They create a network that's now active across the entire planet. It's as if Earth has an immune system that's been triggered by the invasion." "But where are the aliens going?" asked a general. Jack pointed to complex equations on another screen. "Dr. Reeves believes they're being shifted into a parallel dimension. Not destroyed, just moved somewhere else." "Can they come back?" someone asked. "Unknown," Eliza admitted. "But the energy field is still growing stronger. If they try to return, they'll likely face the same result." Outside the Pentagon, a crowd had gathered to watch the sky. The remaining Draconian ships were visible as distant points of light, some flickering and vanishing as they tried to escape. People pointed and cheered each time a ship disappeared. 72 hours after the invasion began, only 20 Draconian ships remained, retreating toward the edge of the solar system. Commander Rex watched Earth grow smaller on his view screen, fury and fear battling within him. "This is not over," he hissed. "We will return with new weapons, new strategies." Officer Krell looked doubtful. "Sir, the Emperor will want answers. How do we explain losing nearly 300 ships to a primitive world?" Before Rex could answer, alarms blared across the bridge. The ship shuddered violently. "The energy field!" a crew member shouted. "It's expanding beyond the planet." Rex watched in horror as the blue energy reached toward his retreating fleet like ghostly fingers. "Maximum speed, get us out of this system." But it was too late. The energy surrounded his flagship, systems failed, and the great Commander Rex felt his ship begin to stretch and distort just before everything went white. On Earth, Scientists tracked the last of the Draconian fleet as it vanished at the edge of the solar system. Celebrations broke out worldwide as news spread that the invasion was over. But Jack Wilson didn't celebrate. Standing at the window of the Pentagon, looking up at the stars, he knew this was just the beginning. "They'll be back," he said quietly to Eliza as she joined him. "And next time they'll bring the entire Draconian Empire." 2 weeks after the Draconian fleet vanished, Earth was still buzzing with excitement and fear. People looked to the skies differently now, knowing they were not alone in the universe. Governments worked together in ways they never had before, sharing information and resources. Jack Wilson had not slept much. Working with Dr. Eliza Reeves and scientists from around the world, he spent his days analyzing data from the invasion. The mystery of Earth's defense system grew deeper with each discovery. "The energy readings are still active," Eliza said, pointing to her computer screen in their new lab beneath Stonehenge. "Lower than during the attack, but definitely still there." Jack nodded, studying the patterns. "It's like an immune system that's still alert after fighting off an infection." Their work was interrupted by a loud siren. A young soldier burst into the lab. "Sir, ma'am, more ships approaching from beyond Mars." Jack and Eliza rushed to the main control room where a large screen showed several objects moving toward Earth. "Draconian reinforcements?" Jack asked. The soldier shook his head. "Different shapes, smaller, and they're sending a message." On the screen, words appeared in many Earth languages. "Attention, Earth. We are representatives of the Galactic Council. We come in peace. We wish to understand what happened to the Draconian invasion fleet." President Reeves was called immediately. Within hours, she had assembled a team to respond to the alien message. Jack and Eliza were key members. "We tell them the truth," the president decided. "We don't know exactly what happened, but we're studying it. We invite them to land peacefully and discuss." 3 days later, 5 ships from different alien civilizations landed on a flat plain near Stonehenge. The site was chosen because of its importance to the vanishing phenomenon. Jack stood beside President Reeves as the first aliens emerged from their ships. They were nothing like the reptilian Draconians. The leader was tall and humanoid, but with blue skin and 4 arms. He approached with his hands empty, showing peace. "I am Captain Thorne of the Galactic Council," he said in perfect English. "We have observed your world for centuries, but never interfered. You were considered a primitive species, not ready for contact." President Reeves stepped forward. "Yet the Draconians had no problem attacking us." Captain Thorne nodded. "The Draconian Empire does not follow Council rules. They conquer any planet they wish, or they did until now." He looked around at Stonehenge. 300 warships gone. The greatest military force in the known galaxy, defeated by a species that hasn't even visited its own moon yet. "We've been to the moon," Jack corrected. Thorne smiled slightly. "My apologies. The point remains. This is unprecedented. The entire galaxy is talking about Earth now, some with fear, some with hope." In the days that followed, scientists from Earth worked with the alien visitors. They shared information, tested theories, and studied the energy fields around the ancient sites. Captain Thorne was often seen working directly with Jack and Eliza. At first, the alien was cold and professional, clearly doubting humans could help. But as their work progressed, his attitude changed. "Your species sees patterns we miss," he admitted one night as they worked late in the lab. "You think differently." Eliza looked up from her equations. "How so?" "Most advanced species develop similar thought patterns," Thorne explained. "We follow logical paths, mathematical certainties, but humans," he gestured to Jack's notebooks filled with drawings and seemingly random connections. "You make leaps no logical species would attempt." Jack smiled. "We call it intuition." On the 10th day of their collaboration, a breakthrough came. They were studying blood samples from humans and comparing them to alien biology. "Look at this," Eliza said suddenly, pointing to her microscope. "Human cells react to the energy field. They actually seem to resonate with it." Further tests confirmed her discovery. Something in human DNA was uniquely attuned to the dimensional energies that had caused the Draconian ships to vanish. "This explains everything," Thorn said, his voice filled with wonder. "Humans don't just detect the energy field. You're part of it. Your ancestors built these monuments to amplify what was already inside you." "Are you saying humans naturally perceive multiple dimensions?" Jack asked. Thorn nodded slowly. "Not consciously. But yes, your species has evolved with an awareness of dimensional space that most species lack. The Draconians weren't destroyed. They were shifted to a parallel dimension, one that humans can naturally sense." News of this discovery spread quickly among the alien visitors. More ships arrived daily, representatives from dozens of civilizations coming to witness the phenomenon themselves. Earth suddenly found itself at the center of galactic attention. Species that had ignored humanity now wanted alliances. Trade, offers poured in. Cultural exchanges began. Not all the attention was friendly. Some alien representatives clearly feared what Earth's natural abilities might mean for the balance of power in the galaxy. "They're afraid of us," Jack said to Eliza as they watched a group of insect-like aliens examining Stonehenge from a distance. "We went from unknown to threat overnight." "With good reason," Captain Thorne said, joining them. "You've accidentally discovered the most powerful defense system in the known galaxy. Many would kill for such technology." "It's not technology," Eliza pointed out. "It's just us," Thorne nodded. "Which makes it more valuable. Technology can be stolen. But this?" He gestured to the ancient stones. "This is bound to your planet, your species." Their conversation was interrupted by an alarm from Thorne's ship. The alien captain rushed inside, followed by Jack and Eliza. On Thorne's view screen, a massive fleet appeared, moving toward Earth. The ships were black, sleek, and clearly built for war. "The Shadow Fleet," Thorne whispered, his blue face turning pale. "The Draconian Emperor's personal armada." Jack's heart sank. "They're coming to finish what Commander Rex started." "Worse," Thorne said. "The Emperor's daughter, Admiral Nova, commands the Shadow Fleet. She's the most brilliant military mind in the Draconian Empire. And according to this message they're broadcasting, she's bringing technology designed specifically to counter Earth's defense system." President Reeves was informed immediately. Emergency meetings were held with all the alien representatives. "We will help defend Earth," Captain Thorne announced to the gathered leaders. "The Galactic Council cannot allow the Draconians to destroy a species with such unique abilities." Not all aliens agreed. Some left quickly, not wanting to be caught in the coming battle. As the Shadow Fleet approached, Earth prepared for another invasion. But this time, they were not alone. Several alien races offered ships, weapons, and knowledge. In the lab beneath Stonehenge, Jack, Eliza, and Captain Thorne worked frantically to understand and enhance Earth's natural defenses. If Admiral Nova had found a way to counter the dimensional shift, they needed to make it stronger. "We need to activate all the ancient sites at once," Eliza suggested. "Create a network that covers the entire planet." Jack studied the map of sites around the world. Pyramids, stone circles, temples, all built on natural power points of the Earth. It could work, but how do we activate them all simultaneously? Captain Thorne smiled for the first time since the Shadow Fleet was detected. "That's where my people can help. We have technology that can amplify energy signals across vast distances." As the Shadow Fleet entered the solar system, Earth prepared for its greatest test. This time, humanity was not ignorant of the cosmos. This time they would fight with knowledge of their own power, and with allies from the stars. Admiral Nova watched Earth grow larger on her view screen, her scaled face set in grim determination. "So this is the planet that defeated my father's fleet," she hissed. "We shall see if it can defeat mine." The Shadow Fleet appeared in Earth's sky like black stars, 300 warships, each larger and more deadly than those in the first invasion. Admiral Nova's flagship, the Void, was twice the size of any other vessel, its surface covered in strange technology that pulsed with purple light. "Energy dampeners ready," Nova commanded from her bridge, her voice cold and precise. Unlike her father, Commander Rex, she did not underestimate the humans. Begin scanning for dimensional anomalies. On Earth, preparations moved at frantic speed. Jack and Eliza had developed a plan with Captain Thorne to amplify Earth's natural defenses. Teams of humans and aliens worked at ancient sites around the world, installing devices that would strengthen the dimensional energy field. At Stonehenge, Jack watched as Thorne's engineers connected glowing blue crystals to each standing stone. "Will this really work?" he asked. Thorne adjusted a crystal. "In theory. We're combining your natural planetary defense with our technology. No one has ever attempted this before." Eliza approached with her tablet. "The Shadow Fleet is holding position just beyond the moon. They're scanning us." "They're being cautious," Jack said. "Learning from the first invasion's mistake." President Reeves arrived by helicopter with military leaders from around the world. The stone circle had become Earth's main defense command. "Status report," she demanded. Eliza pointed to the map showing all major ancient sites around the planet. 15 locations are online. 7 more will be ready within the hour. "The Shadow Fleet will not wait much longer," Thorne warned. "Admiral Nova is known for striking when least expected." As if his words had summoned her, a voice suddenly came through all communication devices. Even people's phones and computers across the planet broadcast the same message: "People of Earth." Admiral Nova's voice was smooth but threatening. "Your trick worked once. It will not work again. We have studied your dimensional defense and developed countermeasures. Surrender, now or be destroyed." To demonstrate her power, Nova fired a single weapon at the moon. A beam of red energy struck the surface and a large crater appeared. The message was clear: Earth would be next. President Reeves turned to Jack. "Options?" Before he could answer, Thorne's sensors beeped urgently. "Multiple ships breaking formation. They're attacking." The sky lit up as the Shadow Fleet launched its first assault, but instead of targeting cities like the previous invasion, they aimed for the ancient sites. "They know," Eliza cried. "They've figured out the power points." Red beams streaked toward pyramids in Egypt, stone formations in Peru, and temples in Asia. But as the energy weapons neared their targets, something unexpected happened. The beams slowed, twisted, and then fed into the very sites they meant to destroy. Jack watched in amazement as Stonehenge absorbed a direct hit, the stones glowing brighter with each attack. "It's working. Their weapons are actually charging. Our defense system." Admiral Nova saw it too. On her view screen, the energy readings from Earth's power points grew stronger with each attack. "Cease fire," she commanded. "They're using our weapons against us." But several Draconian ships had moved too close to the planet. As Earth's defense field strengthened, these vessels began to flicker and distort. 5 ships vanished in quick succession, just as they had during the first invasion. Nova slammed her fist on her command console. "Deploy the phase stabilizers. All ships, maintain distance from the planet." Large devices extended from the remaining Draconian ships, emitting fields of purple energy that seemed to steady the vessels, preventing them from shifting dimensions. "The countermeasures are working," Thorne observed grimly. "They can withstand the field now." Jack studied the readings. "Not completely. Look, their ships are still affected, just not enough to vanish." Eliza pointed to new data appearing on her screen. "The stabilizers are protecting them but using massive amounts of energy. They can't attack while the stabilizers are active." This created a stalemate. The Shadow Fleet couldn't approach Earth without risking dimensional shifting, but Earth couldn't force them to leave. Admiral Nova was not known for patience. After 2 hours of standoff, she ordered a new approach. "Launch ground troops at all power points. The stabilizers will protect them until landing." Thousands of transport pods shot from the Shadow Fleet, each containing 20 Draconian warriors. They streaked toward Earth, targeting the ancient sites. At Stonehenge, Jack watched the pods descending. "They're sending soldiers to destroy the sites directly." Captain Thorne activated defense shields around the stone circle. "We expected this. The Council ships will intercept as many as we can." The sky filled with dogfights as alien allies engaged the Draconian transports. Many pods were destroyed, but others broke through. crashing near ancient sites worldwide. At Stonehenge, Jack and Eliza helped organize the defense as Draconian soldiers approached the perimeter. Earth military forces fought alongside alien allies, using weapons designed to disrupt the invaders' phase stabilizers. One Draconian warrior broke through the line, charging toward the center stone. Jack tackled him, knocking the alien off balance. They rolled on the ground, the Draconian's superior strength almost overwhelming Jack until Eliza struck the alien's stabilizer pack with a metal rod. The device sparked and failed. The effect was immediate. The Draconian soldier began to flicker, his body becoming transparent. His eyes widened in terror as he started to shift dimensions. What? What is happening to me? The soldier gasped, looking at his fading hands. You're not dying, Jack told him. You're transcending. The soldier vanished completely, shifted to another dimension like the ships before him. This scene repeated across the globe as Draconian soldiers lost their stabilizers and vanished. The tide began to turn in Earth's favor. On her flagship, Admiral, Nova watched in growing frustration as her forces dwindled. Prepare my personal transport, she ordered. I will lead the final assault myself. Nova's transport was unlike any other, a sleek black vessel with the most powerful phase stabilizers available. She headed directly for Stonehenge, the strongest power point. Jack, Eliza, and Thorn were coordinating global defenses when Nova's ship screamed overhead, landing just outside the stone circle. The Admiral emerged alone, wearing armor covered in the same purple technology as her ships. Impressive, she said, walking calmly toward them despite weapons aimed at her. No species has ever repelled a Draconian invasion. My father was right to fear this planet. Then why continue the attack? President Reeves asked, stepping forward. Nova's yellow eyes narrowed. Because what you have cannot be allowed to spread. A power that renders our military useless? The Emperor would rather see this planet destroyed. We don't want war, Jack said. We were defending ourselves. Nova laughed coldly. It doesn't matter what you want. Your existence threatens Draconian dominance. As they spoke, Eliza noticed something strange. The stones were reacting to Nova's presence, glowing brighter as she approached. The dimensional energy was building, despite her stabilizers. Your technology is failing, Eliza said quietly. Nova glanced at her suit readouts and saw the warning lights. For the first time, fear showed on her face. Impossible. These stabilizers could withstand 10 times this field strength. Because you're calculating based on your first encounter, Thorn explained. But each attack strengthens the field. Your weapons, your ships, even your presence, all of it feeds the defense system. Nova backed away, but it was too late. Her stabilizer suit began to spark and smoke. The Admiral turned to run to her ship, but her legs were already becoming transparent. Tell the galaxy, she shouted as her body began to shift dimensions. The humans don't defeat you, they transcend you. With those final words, Admiral Nova vanished completely. In orbit, the Shadow Fleet witnessed their leader's disappearance. Without orders, they began to retreat, moving beyond the moon where Earth's influence couldn't reach them. At Stonehenge, celebrations broke out among humans and alien allies. The second invasion had been repelled. Earth was safe. Jack stood among the ancient stones, now glowing with soft blue light. It's not over, he said to Eliza and Thorn. The Draconian Emperor won't stop with 2 failed invasions. No, Thorn agreed. But now, the galaxy has seen what Earth can do. You have allies, and more importantly, you have a power no one fully understands, not even you. Eliza looked up at the stars, now filled with friendly and retreating alien ships. Nova's last words about transcending rather than defeating. What do you think she meant? Jack watched the retreating Shadow Fleet, thinking about the hundreds of Draconian ships and soldiers that had vanished. I think she realized something. We haven't yet. This isn't just a defense system. It's a doorway to something more. As night fell on Stonehenge, the ancient stones continued to pulse with energy, as if agreeing with his words. Earth had survived its second cosmic battle, but the greatest discoveries were yet to come. 6 months after Admiral Nova's defeat, Earth had changed in ways no one could have imagined. The planet now hosted representatives from 27 alien civilizations. Strange ships moved peacefully through the skies. Humans worked alongside, beings from distant stars, learning and growing together. Jack Wilson stood on a platform overlooking the largest construction project in human history. The ancient site of Stonehenge had been transformed into a massive research facility. The original stones remained untouched at the center, still glowing with soft blue energy, but now surrounded by a blend of human and alien technology. "The final calibrations are complete," Eliza said, joining him on the platform. In the past months, she had become Earth's leading expert on dimensional physics, working with scientists from across the galaxy. "We're ready for the first test." Jack nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility. As head of the newly formed Earth Defense Initiative, he oversaw all interactions between humans and extraterrestrial visitors. "Are we sure this is safe?" "As sure as we can be," Captain Thorne answered, his blue skin now a familiar sight around the facility. The Galactic Council representative had become Earth's strongest ally. The gateway should stabilize the dimensional corridor enough for controlled travel. Below them, scientists and engineers made final adjustments to a massive ring of technology that surrounded the ancient stones. The project had a simple but revolutionary goal: to create a stable pathway to the dimension where the Draconian ships and soldiers had vanished. The council vote was unanimous, Thorne continued. Earth is officially offered membership, the fastest invitation in galactic history. "People are still debating whether to accept," Jack said. "Some fear losing our independence." Eliza smiled. "Others are eager to explore the stars without having to build our own ships first." The debate across Earth had been intense. After centuries of isolation, humanity suddenly faced joining a community of advanced civilizations. Some embraced the opportunity, while others feared becoming less important in the wider galactic society. The remaining Draconians have been quiet, Jack noted, changing the subject. Thorne's expression turned serious. "Too quiet. Our intelligence suggests the Emperor was deeply affected by losing his daughter. The Draconian Empire has withdrawn from 3 disputed systems in the past month." "Preparing for something bigger?" Eliza asked. "Or genuinely reconsidering their approach?" Thorne replied. "Their diplomats arrived at Council headquarters yesterday. The first peaceful Draconian delegation in 2 centuries. Jack watched as the gateway powered up, the ancient stones at its center pulsing with increasing energy. Maybe they finally understand that some things can't be conquered by force. A young technician approached them. "We're ready to activate, sir." Jack took a deep breath and nodded. "Proceed." Scientists at control panels initiated the sequence. Energy flowed from the stones into the surrounding technology. The air inside the gateway ring began to shimmer and distort. "Dimensional corridor stabilizing," Eliza reported, watching readings on her tablet. "Field integrity at 85%, 90% holding steady." Inside the ring, the air seemed to tear open, revealing a swirling blue vortex. Unlike the violent energy that had swallowed the Draconian ships, this portal was calm and controlled. "Send the probe," Jack ordered. A small drone moved forward into the portal and disappeared. Screens showed data streaming back from the other side. "We have telemetry," a scientist shouted excitedly. "The probe is functional and sending data." Everyone gathered around the screens to see the first images from another dimension. The landscape looked similar to Earth, but with subtle differences. The color slightly shifted, the light coming from what appeared to be 2 suns. "No sign of the Draconian ships yet," Eliza noted as the probe continued transmitting. "But the dimension matches our calculations. This is definitely where they went." Then something moved across the probe's camera view. At first it was just a shadow, but then a figure came into focus. It was clearly a Draconian soldier, but changed. His scales had a blue glow, and he moved with unusual grace. The soldier looked directly at the probe, showing no fear or aggression. Instead, he raised his hand in what appeared to be a greeting. "He's aware of us," Jack whispered in amazement. More figures appeared behind the first, hundreds of Draconians, all transformed in similar ways. They gathered around the probe, watching it with curious, peaceful expressions. "They've changed," Thorn said, his voice filled with wonder. "The dimension has transformed them somehow." One Draconian approached the probe and spoke. The translation system took a moment to process his words. "We have been waiting for you to find us," the transformed Draconian said. "We have learned much. In this realm, we wish to share our discovery with both worlds." Before anyone could respond, a new alarm sounded from the portal. The energy field began fluctuating wildly. "Something's coming through," a technician shouted. The portal pulsed and expanded. From its center emerged a single figure, a Draconian female in what remained of an admiral's armor. "Nova," Jack breathed, recognizing the admiral who had vanished months ago. But like the others, she too was transformed. Her scales shimmered with blue energy and her eyes held wisdom rather than aggression. She stepped forward calmly. "Greetings, humans," Nova said, her voice softer than before. "And to you, Captain Thorn of the Council. We have been expecting you to bridge the gap between our worlds." "Admiral Nova," Jack approached cautiously. "You've survived." She smiled, something no human had ever seen a Draconian do. "More than survived. We have evolved. This dimension does not destroy, it elevates consciousness. We understand now what we could not before." "What happened to the invasion fleet?" Eliza asked. "They are all here, all changed, without the aggression and fear that drove us before. We see the universe more clearly now, the connections between all things, all dimensions." Nova turned to face the gateway. "This portal you have created is just the beginning. There are countless dimensions, countless realities to explore. We wish to help you understand them." Captain Thorn stepped forward. "The Draconian Empire still threatens several worlds in our galaxy. Your father—" "I will speak with my father," Nova interrupted. "Show him what I have learned. The Empire's path of conquest is primitive compared to what we could achieve through cooperation." For the next several hours, scientists and leaders asked questions as Nova explained what she had discovered in the other dimension. The transformed Draconians had learned to perceive reality in ways even the most advanced council species could not. By nightfall, plans were being made for an official expedition through the portal. Nova would return to her dimension, but with promises to maintain contact through the gateway. Before leaving, she took Jack aside. "Your species is unique in the known galaxy," she told him. "You exist partially in multiple dimensions without even realizing it. That is why Earth could defend itself. You are naturally attuned to the dimensional fabric of reality." "And what does that mean for our future?" Jack asked. Nova's eyes seemed to look beyond him, as if seeing something others could not. "It means humanity's destiny lies not in conquering stars, but in bridging realities. You will become the guardians of the spaces between dimensions, a role far more important than any empire." As Nova stepped back through the portal, Jack stood, with Eliza and Thorn, watching the gateway pulse with energy. "Do you believe her?" Eliza asked. "About our destiny?" Jack looked up at the night sky, seeing it differently now. Not just as distant stars to visit, but as a thin veil hiding countless other realities waiting to be discovered. "I think," he said slowly, "that we've taken our first step into a much larger universe than anyone imagined. And yes, I think protecting the doorways between worlds might be more important than conquering them." Captain Thorn placed a four-fingered hand on Jack's shoulder. "The Council will support Earth in this new role. Your world has gone from unknown to essential in less than a year." As the three stood watching the portal to another dimension, Earth continued its transformation from an isolated world to the center of a new galactic age, one built not on conquest, but on exploration and understanding of the universe's deepest mysteries. The disappearance of the Draconian Armada had not been Earth's end, but its true beginning.